minds of the artist.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Green Room, the show that gives you the dive into the minds of the artist. We are broadcasting to you today from the Soundwave Music Media headquarters, and my guest today is Zach Koch. Yes, the Southern Mississippi guitar player who's been making some noise for a long time, since he's been a kid, but he hasn't stopped yet, man. This guy's been doing some incredible breakthrough performances, just released a new track with a new band. So that's all coming, man. We thank you all for watching. And yeah, man, welcome to the show, Zach. Thank you for coming on, brother.
Thank you for having me.
So you've been busy, man. How's it been going?
It's been going good. So I've got the Zachariah and the Kings thing going on, and we've just been trying to book as often as we can, play as often as we can, and we're working on a couple of songs, trying to get us into, the studio and stuff. Trying. So it's like herding cats, but you know how it is. But yeah, I'm excited. But
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
thank you for
man.
having me.
Oh man, no problem. Yeah, I've been knowing him for a while. So let's take it from the top, man. Walk through, walk through the beginning from when you were a kid and that first time music came and like touched you and you're like, wow, that's something I'd want to do right there. And
All right.
yeah.
So, the very first concert I went to, I think I was 3 years old, and we went to go see ZZ Top at the Wharf. And I only remember like two things from that concert. The first one was they would take a break and they would like walk behind the amps. And I was just like so infatuated with them like disappearing after they walked behind the amps. And then the other thing that I remember is like I would be making friends with every single person at the wharf, and my parents are like, no, no, you can't sit with the strangers. And so, but that was probably the first time that I was like, I just really fell in love with music. Shortly after that, I asked my parents for like a guitar, and I couldn't pronounce amplifier, so I just said one of those boxes that make it really loud. And so I got that for Christmas, and we took guitar lessons, like me and my brother, and I had the attention span of a 3-year-old, so I didn't stick with it for that long. And then I moved from that to piano when I was about 5, and kind of ditched the guitar, put it off to the side. Played piano until I was like 11. I was doing like judo and jujitsu and all sorts of stuff. And then my brother left for college, and I didn't have anybody, to hang out with, so I picked up the guitar again. And I was, all right, I started playing like these YouTube tutorial videos for rock songs. Like I learned like Hell's Bells from Justin Guitar, and eventually my parents decided, maybe we should get him like a left-handed guitar because he's playing this right-handed guitar upside down, and it's like really hurting his progress. So they got me a Fender Squire off of an eBay auction actually. And so that came in. How it didn't break, I have no idea. It was literally just wrapped up in cardboard. I don't even think it came in a gig bag.
I've
So it
seen
was just
some, yeah, I've seen
yeah.
some stuff from guitar shipping. I totally.
Yeah, it was crazy. And so my parents went to go see Kenny Wayne Shepherd at the IP. They took the guitar, they got it signed by him and Noah Hunt, and I was just ecstatic about that. And then I started taking lessons and stuff, and from you probably know Philip Blackwell.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, he was my guitar teacher, and
He's a great guitar player.
he oh, got out. Yeah,
Oh,
he
I said
is.
he's a great
Um,
guitar player.
But I took guitar lessons from him for a while, and like we'd go see Leon Russell at Brewski's, went to go get him to sign that guitar as well. And then for Christmas, I got tickets to go see Santana when I was 12, and I remember just being like super excited about that. It was like during spring break, and so we went. I brought my guitar, wanted him to sign it, obviously. Uh, and me and my dad would go up to the stage and immediately get shut down by security, and we would just get told like, you need to return back to your seats. And this happened like 10 or so times. And I think one of the VIP people just got pissed at the security either not doing anything or us two constantly just showing up into the VIP section. And they said, "Here, take my seat. I'm gonna go grab a drink." And it's crazy how things line up, like in retrospect. We stood there, security couldn't do anything because we had the seat. And like literally that song, Santana ends the song, goes and takes a break, which musicians never really take breaks during concerts,
Yeah.
except for like when they end it and they do like an encore. But yeah, he took a break, goes backstage, and his keyboard player sees us like standing there, me with my guitar and my Sharpie. Keyboard player takes off and goes to get Santana. Santana comes out and he, signs the guitar, and there's spotlights and, cameras and stuff everywhere. I've already got tunnel vision, and
Eh,
he asks me like, "Can you play?" And I I'm thinking in my mind like people will, get stuff signed by like huge celebrities and then go sell it on eBay. You know, that I, so when he asks like, "Can you play?" I'm thinking in my head like, "Do you play?" As in like, "Is this your guitar?" And I'm like, "Yeah, this is my guitar." And he's like, "Well, come
Yeah.
on." I'm like, what?" And he's like, "Well, come on." And so, like they pull me over the railing and plug me into one of his spare amp stacks, and I barely know the pentatonic scale. So the the video online, like I don't promote the video that much because I wasn't that good at the time. I'd been playing for like 6 months at this point. So, I got to play with Santana. I wish I was better, but you know, I still got to play with Santana, which is really freaking cool. And at that moment, I realized like I have to do this for a living. Like I had all of these different things that you want to be when you're growing up, and you can't really decide on what you want to do with your life. And that nailed it down for me. Like I fell in love with music after that. Absolutely fell in love. And so I started practicing like probably like 4 hours a day, like every single day. And
Wow.
I was doing that in school, high school and stuff. And I was kind of on the uphill, and then COVID happened, and COVID halted like everything. Um, I remember I think I was booked for Ground Zero, Hub Fest, and some other festival. And I had like just bought merch whenever COVID hit. So fast forward after COVID, I started focusing more and more on college, and I got my
Well, go
degrees and
back to like high school. So when you're in high
okay,
school, you're playing shows in bars
yeah,
and everything. I
yeah,
think that's when I first met you, and I was like, it's like 14,
yeah.
15, somewhere's in there, and we were playing what was it? It was something from Hendrix. It was
Oh, it's probably Little
uh
Wing or Voodoo
yep,
Child.
yeah, it was
Little,
Little Wing
yeah,
for sure. And I was
yeah.
like, at first I was like playing, and then you were playing with such soul, and I was like, damn, he's good for 14 years old. And then it wasn't long after that that I'm like, wow, he's playing some of the places I'm playing. That's really cool. I was a bit the same, like when I grew up in New York, but like I was like 13-year-old playing bars and stuff, and like it's different than how did you take that in being younger and performing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Was it nervous? Did it make you nervous being in a different environment, or did it pump you up to be like, you know, out there performing and playing around and messing like getting to play with all the cool people in the
Mm.
town?
So I think it's definitely an exposure thing. The more that you do it, the less nervous you'll get, just as a rule. For me, I remember a point where I realized that most of the people in this bar are too drunk to care about whether or not you mess up. And they're more they're more excited about like knowing the song that you're playing. They could care less if you mess up, you know?
Right.
And so after that, that kind of took the stress of like, oh, I've got to play this perfectly. I've got to play this right. I didn't care anymore, you know? And so after that, we would do like I would go to like the open mic nights at Nick's a lot. Um, and that also got me a lot of experience playing with like bands and stuff.
And for
So,
people that don't know Nick's, because like we broadcast all over the world, but like, um, yeah, Nick's is like this dive bar, man. That's like it burnt down or something crazy. I wasn't here. I was
yeah.
off in Florida and they were like Nick's is gone. I was like, "Oh man, that's crazy." But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it was a dive bar that was proud of being a dive bar. Like they had like toilet seats and yeah, they would like that's where a lot of people that were picking around in the town that we're staying in first came out. That was kind of cool. Yeah, dude, I think I played a few open mic nights at Nick's. It was rough some
That's
nights,
fun.
but
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
fun.
Yeah. And you got to meet all sorts of new people too, which I love, you know. I love meeting the new musicians and l hearing their style, playing some of the same songs. And yeah, it's just really cool whenever you're playing with yourself, and you're like playing the same things over and over and over, you don't get that other I guess perspective on music. So you get you're only as good as you are, whereas when somebody else can come in, you can get a little bit better, you know. That's just the way that I see it. And open mic nights and playing with other,
And just
musicians and
jams in
everything.
general, like the
Yeah.
Mississippi jams. I don't know if you've been out to some of JoJo's jams or the other jams around, but you get to play with all these different guitar players, especially some
Yeah.
of the blues guitar. Like you're very bluesy. You are a blues master. But like yeah, dude, you get to play with all these cool guitar players, and then like you walk away, and you're like, I didn't know how to do that, but now I'm gonna go home and know how to do that. Like no
Yeah.
matter what way it works out, and then everybody kind of walks away. Like, yeah,
Oh
it's
yeah.
very awesome, man. Um,
100%.
so like, yeah, going from that, did you feel like the underdog at all? Because you were younger, like you feel like you had to prove yourself playing. Especially to get gigs and to get, moving.
There was definitely a couple of times where I felt so going back with like the Santana thing, right? I would kind of see that sometimes as like a missed opportunity, like had I been better, maybe my career would have exploded, it would have gone viral. Uh, Now looking back at it, I'm like, eh, like probably not, honestly. People go viral and then they're like a flash in the pan, you know? So sometimes I would get up on stage and maybe I'd get the solo passed to me and I would play the best solo that I could possibly come up with at the time. And I still kind of do that at the same time. You don't know when the next time you're going to play is, so play with the best you got. And I think that just kind of became my mentality after a while. Um, and I would play with some, particularly aggressive players too, and I enjoy that, I enjoy being challenged a little bit, like Kern or Kern Pratt or Brad Miller, like those two were really pivotal on my growth as a musician, I think. So,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Well, we got about a minute 40 before break, so I'm just gonna
Oh,
take this second here to let everybody know about the Soundwave Foundation and everything we're doing with the Soundwave Foundation. Um the Soundwave Foundation supports everything we're doing here with the interviews, with the daily reports, with bringing on new shows, broadcasting, everything, helping artists. And we're working on putting together some programs like Life on the Road, which helps artists touring and everything. Maybe they get in a bind and their gear gets stolen and they need to rent some gear. Maybe they need a little extra food. Maybe they need some gas. Maybe they need a little bit of money toward getting a hotel for the night to clean up. Who knows? But there's always problems on the road. There's always problems in life. Plus, we're trying to put guitars like some Squires or some, Epiphone Juniors or something in the hands of some young kids. So donate to the Soundwave Foundation. Go to the soundwavefoundation.org, give a nice donation, and we'll be right back after this break. Thank you for watching.
A glimpse behind the scene, the green room.
We would not be doing any of this without our friends at DistroKid. If you are an artist or a new musician trying to get your music out there on all the big platforms like Spotify and iHeartRadio, go check out DistroKid. And while you're at it, use our code and get 20% off. Yes, 20% off your membership fees. Check out DistroKid and support Soundwave. Thank you. If you're a guitar player and you're looking for a great new acoustic guitar or custom guitar, check out Zager Guitars. They support us here at Soundwave, but not only that, they make excellent guitars. Check out ZagerGuitars.com. I wanted to tell everybody out there about the Soundwave Foundation and what we're doing. You can check out the soundwavefoundation.org. We're putting together all kinds of programs, even like programs to help artists that are touring but young and need help with gas, or maybe your instruments get stolen or your car breaks down. We're trying to help out with all that stuff. And I mean, we're doing a ton of stuff. It helps fund the operation here. So go there, donate, help us get started with that. And we'll see you after this break.
The green room, a dive into the minds of the artist.
And we're back. Thank you all for watching and staying tuned in, man. We're with Zach Koch tonight, and I'm telling you, this kid has got some stuff to listen to. So you got new music out, and we're going to get to that a little bit later, but we were kind of rummaging on, you were coming out of COVID, and you were talking about how that really affected playing and everything. And we had talked about being a kid, kind of feeling like the underdog. So you finally start feeling like, I got my gas burning, and then COVID hits. So like, let's take it from there. How did that affect kind of, because it seemed like you were really starting to branch out, play some shows and everything, get steady flow going, and then boom, that hit. So take us through that.
Yeah. There was, there was a lot that changed, obviously. Um, for whatever reason, it was, you kind of had a mix of things. It took like a year or 2 years after COVID before things kind of started somewhat being kind of normal. And then during those 1 to 2 years, I kind of studied more, like focused way more on the college aspect of my life, and going to classes and all that stuff. It's a huge life-changing thing to go from high school to college. And so I would play every once in a while. I'd play, a gig or two, and eventually I got approached for a gig playing for this country artist named Hillary Reese with Shelby Kemp, Eric Boutwell, and Sam Martinez. I don't know if you know
I
Those
know.
that
Yeah,
quattro.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
Sam and Eric, like we played together with the Gypsy Kid and stuff for a
Yeah, yeah.
while. Yeah, so love those
Yeah.
guys. Great rhythm section.
Yeah. So we wound up we played that festival and then Sam approached me about joining the band that he was in called Four Way Stop. And at the same time, Kyle Graves, the guitarist at the time for that band, also approached me about joining Four Way Stop. So I'm like, okay, I'll check it out. And I went and auditioned for them, and then I kind of pivoted, my focus to Four Way Stop, and I really enjoyed it. Love all of them. They It seems like right as I was graduating college, they all also were either getting like graduating college and getting other jobs and stuff like that. Bass player had a kid, like tons of stuff happened for them. And so we wound up disbanding and me and Sam kind of started the Zachariah and the Kings, which is what we've got now. And so we've been playing and booking and booking and playing. And we we've got a few songs recorded. Um, we're kind of looking at them as can we do them a little bit better before we release them? Number one, and number two, we're kind of playing them live and seeing how the audience reacts, getting more comfortable playing them, all that stuff. Um, and then, moving towards releasing them and all that stuff. But yeah, we have been working on new songs, which is good. We've got t-shirts and hats and stickers too, which are I like them. I That's the thing I like about doing your own merch is it's stuff that you like to wear, kind of. So that's what
Right.
that's just
Yeah,
my little
yeah,
thing with the
absolutely.
merch. But yeah.
Absolutely. We got this one shirt for Soundwave that's like it says not dead yet, still rocking, basically just like talking about rock music's like well and alive. But and then it's
Nice.
got like little skeletons dancing on it and shit.
That's cool.
Totally, yeah. I love when you don't just like ask some random person like, "Hey, draw something up," but you actually
Yeah.
take the time as the artist to make something cool yourself. It
Oh yeah.
definitely it's part of the whole character of the music, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
let's take it back to college though, because like you didn't just go to
Okay.
college for like, you know, building swimming pools or something, or
Yeah.
like journalism or whatever. You went to
Yeah.
college for
So
music and
yeah,
yeah.
I started out I wanted to do entrepreneurship, and I was going to use that to like start like a production company or something as my backup. And then at some point, I joined a fraternity and stuff, and one of the members in the fraternity was talking about they were majoring in recording, or it's media and entertainment arts, sound and recording was their major. And I'm like, hold up a minute, I thought we didn't have any production classes or anything at USM. And he was like, "No, we have like a whole program in the communications building." And I'm like,
One of the biggest,
"Well, I've
yeah.
been I've been looking in the business building for music business." So I wound up looking into it, changed my major to the equivalent of music business. It's entertainment arts management.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the last semester I had like this weird I'm probably like the last person ever to have these two degrees. So sorry, other USM students. It was probably my transcript that tripped the flags, but it was, I noticed that there was like a lot of overlap and I only had to take like a few other classes and I could get my degree in sound and recording as well. So I have a degree in entertainment arts management and a degree in sound and recording. And then I also got my minor in business as well, since I had taken a few of those entrepreneurship classes and stuff. So yeah, I did that for a little while. I somehow wound up as the attorney general in college. So I was in charge of the standards for all the fraternities and stuff, which is interesting. But yeah,
Uh, that
so
was fun. Dive into that.
yeah.
How was it being? Um, in charge of that?
It was fun. I was a lot of what I did was there's a thing called grade appeals for fraternities, which basically if they make grades, then they get like a certain number of people that they can bring in that may be under the average GPA. And they can be like, hey, if you let us have this kid, we have the resources to train them and, whatever else to be able to study and all that stuff and make them better. And we'll be like, okay, yeah, we believe you. And
Yeah.
you know, so other than that, it's yeah, just
So
keeping up with bylaws and stuff. Yeah.
juggling all that with music, you got seemed like you had a lot going on in college. How did
It
you
was a lot.
maintain shows?
Yeah.
Did you dial them back? And when you did play shows, um, were you still focusing on like pushing your show as hard, or were you just like getting
Mm.
through it?
It's kind of a mix. It's kind of a mix of getting through it and just doing the best that I could. I luckily a lot of the shows are on the weekends, so it didn't really conflict with classes a whole lot. Um, and a lot of the stuff that it would conflict with was maybe fraternity stuff, but I could get that done during the week and bring my excuses and whatever else. But towards the end, when I was working on my senior project, so for my senior project at USM, you have like a semester of studying and, you know, kind of making the project, saying like, hey, this is what I want to do. This is the practical applications of it, yada, yada, yada. And then the second semester, you actually do the project, like you actually make it into a reality. And so my thing was it was going to be a 4-song EP. It wound up being a 3-song EP because I was doing it all myself. And also I had a couple of family things came up. Um, so yeah, the 3-song EP wound up I was doing that. So I was basically living in the studio at USM like 24/7, which was great for, figuring out how a studio runs and um it kind of got me into recording a little bit better. Like I understood like how to not how to play with a metronome, but I got way better at timing my uh, recordings and
Dude,
stuff like that. So
Sam,
it's a lot
Sam is
different.
incredible at timing.
Oh yeah, he is
I mean,
100%.
we were practicing one time, and I was like, I want to play Dazed and Confused. And he's like, hold on 1 minute. And like he jumps up. We were practicing at his house, which is Sam is his drummer. And he runs to his room and he comes back with like this black book and he like puts it on his little music stand. And I swear to God, he played Dazed and Confused like note for note, chop for chop. Like John Bonham
Yeah.
was in the room on drums. Like I was laughing. I was like, me and Eric were looking at each other, just cutting up, laughing. Like it was hard to even like he's doing that like perfect. Holy wow. But yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So like when it comes to your music, do you go somewhere else to record it, or are you cutting it? Are you recording it? Are you putting them skills on the table?
So we're doing kind of a mix of things. I'll record it on my laptop and Logic and stuff, like my what I can record. And then we'll go to like Cole Hill's house and he'll, cut the drums. If we find anything wrong with the guitar track or the bass track, I'll redo it. Um, we'll either do that or we've been working with a nonprofit called Ear Candy Coalition. It's ran by Jay Patrick's from I don't know if you know the Chitlins or not.
Yeah,
He's the
I do know,
yeah.
but
He's
not well.
yeah, he's the bass
Know of
player
them.
for the Chitlins and super nice guy. They all so the rhythm guitarist, Jimmy, he has like a studio in the back, like in his backyard that's really, really nice. So we went and
Is that like
we
that?
recorded one of those
It is like a
studios.
big old building, like a big
Yeah,
building that they got back. Oh, okay, so I think
yeah,
I've seen
yeah.
it like online. Yeah, yeah, we've
Yeah,
talked
it's
about it. So
super
you've been
cool.
there, you go there to record?
We went there last year and worked on a song. So yeah.
When you put these songs together, how did they come together? Are you like writing guitar riffs
Mm.
and then like how do you guys jumble it back and forth? Do you write everything and then bring it to Sam, or do you guys sit there and like play off each other like a White Stripes Zeppelin kind of vibe? How do
Mm.
these songs come together?
So that'll be a kind of a mix too. A lot of times I'll write the riffs and the lyrics separately. And so I have like a huge data bank on my phone of just poems and poems or lyrics and lyrics and lyrics. And I'll have a riff that I'll make up and I'll kind of sometimes I'll go through and be like, do these lyrics fit this? Does this fit this? You know. And eventually I'll find something that kind of fits and I'll rewrite the riff to match the lyrics and yada yada. Until I got a song. And then I'll take that song to Sam. And then Sam just comes up with the drum part like that. And I'm like,
You,
wow. That, that took
that's
me like
better than anything I
that
ever
took
could
me
have
like yeah,
imagined.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. You
That
know?
made the song so much better. No,
Yeah,
yeah, I feel you.
100%. And so we'll do that. Or like I'll have them, come over and we practice for the gig or whatever, and we've got, you know, 5 or 10 minutes, or something. We'll kind of jam some riffs or something, or I'll start playing a riff and he'll fill in on drums, and we just kind of keep going. And then we sit and I try and write lyrics on the spot, and it's just like I don't know how
Un-
to I don't know how to do that.
No, I know, and it's like, yeah, I've done that too with like the throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what
Yeah.
sticks, and then
So
like, yeah, like what I've done a lot too is like we'll record like some even a cell phone recording of whatever, and then
yeah,
you get like that, and then you're like, okay, so then we're some really natural melodies, and then you kind of like reshape it. Yeah, I
yeah,
that's probably one of my favorite ways to write because it's so natural and you're really capturing like the essence of the natural way it was played the first time.
yeah,
um
100%.
so we're about to head out to another break here, and just go ahead and real quick before we go to break, plug your stuff real quick, and where can people find this merchandise?
Yeah.
Maybe they can go look it up during the break.
Yeah. So we've got ZachariahandtheKings.com. I'm actually working on getting the merch on the website, and the way that it would work is you can get it shipped wherever. So I'm working on that right now. If not, there's an email list you can sign up to. You can contact us directly through the website, and we can make it work to get some merch to you. We have it at all of our live shows. And we've got like a Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff, Cash App, all
Oh
that fun
yeah.
stuff. But
So
yeah,
follow them,
yeah,
and
follow
we'll be
and
back. And if you like what we're doing here at Soundwave, follow us, and we'll see you after this break.
A glimpse behind the scenes. The Green Room.
We would not be doing any of this without our friends at DistroKid. If you are an artist or a new musician trying to get your music out there on all the big platforms like Spotify and iHeartRadio, go check out DistroKid. And while you're at it, use our code and get 20% off. Yes, 20% off your membership fees. Check out DistroKid and support Soundwave. Thank you. you're a guitar player and you're looking for a great new acoustic guitar or custom guitar, check out Zager Guitars. They support us here at Soundwave, but not only that, they make excellent, excellent guitars. Check out ZagerGuitars.com. I wanted to tell everybody out there about the Soundwave Foundation and what we're doing. You can check out the soundwavefoundation.org. We're putting together all kinds of programs, even like programs to help artists that are touring but young and need help with gas, or maybe your instruments get stolen or your car breaks down. We're trying to help out with all that stuff. And I mean, we're doing a ton of stuff. It helps fund the operation here. So go there, donate, help us get started with that. And we'll see you after this break. And welcome back to the Green Room, the show that gives you the dive into the minds of the artists. Man, we've been having such a great interview with Zach. And before we get back into that, I really want to tell everybody about the new giveaway that we have. We have this new giveaway going. You sign up for our newsletter, and once you sign up for our newsletter, you're automatically entered into the giveaway, and it's free, totally free. If you share reports on artists and then tag us, you get entered again to win the giveaway. And then at the end of 90 days, whoever has the most entries into the giveaway, probably not the most entries. You could have one entry, you could have 100 entries. It don't matter, but we roll a dice and it picks from all the entries. It's basically an app that we just shove all the data into, and it randomly picks. And then we give you some Soundwave merch, where it might be a hat. We actually kind of pick randomly from the store. It might be one of the shirts. It might be a classic shirt. It might be the cruise shirt. It might be so check it out. Support what we're doing at Soundwave. And let's get back into this interview, man. We've been diving in all over, but what I don't feel like we've really hit on is somewhere's in here, I got a list of just your influences, and you're a real guitar player. So I want to talk about your voice too. So how was it going from just being a guitar player to being a guitar player plus a front man? But let's talk first about your guitar influences, and maybe move into what guitar gear you like to use. Is that different than what you would take into the studio, on stage, at home? Let's dive into that though.
So I kind of touched on it a little bit earlier with the idea of having new musicians kind of in the mix, I guess, of what you're doing. So it's really, really easy to run out of music that you're listening to, like new music and stuff like that. Because if you're listening to a lot of radio stations like I was, or the same album over and over in your car, you're gonna kind of run dry on new stuff.
See, now this
And
audience here that you're talking to gets delivered a bunch of new music every day. No,
yeah,
I'm just kidding.
yeah.
But absolutely, man. And that you're so right. And that's why we're doing this. Not to cut in, but just yeah, you're so right. And you're growing up as a musician, and you're running out of stuff to be inspired by.
Yeah.
So and everything's kind of especially your age, MTV is not what it used to be. The radio's not what
Yeah.
it used to be. So it's just where do you go to find? But yeah, dive back
Right.
in. So you're searching for
Yeah,
inspiration,
yeah.
and
S-
um
So I was really, really lucky. And my parents are super supportive of everything that I've done with music. And one of the things that they've done was they started we all started going on these blues cruises that I think Joe Bonamassa puts on with the Keeping the Blues Alive Foundation. And we went on a few of those, and every single one of them is packed to the brim with new artists that are just phenomenal. That was where I got introduced to who Eric Gales is, and who like uh, I had listened to a little bit of Bonamassa, but I listened to him a lot more after after those. Um, Larkin Poe and Matt Anderson and Toronzo Can tons and tons of people. I think that's the first time I ever heard of Marcus King, So a lot of the newer people that are up and coming, kind of you would see them on these cruises, and it was great. I kind of thought that rock and blues was practically dead
We
because I'm
had
listening to Led
on.
Zeppelin.
Do you know who Leilani Kilgore is? I think she played
Yeah,
on one of
yeah.
the. Yeah, she
Yeah, she
played one of
did.
those. Yeah,
Yeah.
and did the Blues Cruise thing
She's
for a while.
killer.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. So you're starting to find out about these guys, and
Yeah.
like, I mean, had you already gone back to say your roots blues by then?
Hmm.
You were
Yeah, I kind of started plateauing a little bit. I think we all kind of reach these little ruts that we get into, where we don't know what to do that's new. And that really does help show that there is like a middle ground too. Because, if you're like here, and you're looking at like, I don't know, Eric Johnson playing Cliffs of Dover, and you're like your level. And, it's such a huge jump that it almost is disheartening. And to see people that are like actively getting better and actively growing as musicians that aren't much older than you are, like it lets you kind of grab onto something and kind of hope, sort of. Like it brings it back into like something that's
right.
doable.
It brings it back to
Yeah,
reality because, like, yeah,
right.
because you're looking at like you're getting burnt out on, yeah, like you said, you find this rut to where it's like, yeah, I have, even like everything from J.J. Cale to the
Yeah,
Allman Brothers, Skinner, stuff that came up then. It just did, yeah, you hit these ruts. And that's
yeah.
where I was talking the other day with one of our reporters, and I was like, we're doing this too, because this is all music history. Like, it is still rolling. The clock's still rolling. The film's
Right.
still rolling. It's just that everybody that not to go into like a long report or anything, but the industry has took its own way into pop culture, and
Yeah.
big business came in and injected with the 3 minute song down to like, what are we down to now? From a 3 minute song down to like a
Seven
3 second.
seconds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You
Yeah.
have to make them love you in 7 seconds, or you,
Yeah.
yeah, and so you see these artists like, yeah, like all of them, and they're playing, 6, 7, 8 minute songs. It's back to what it was, and that's why, like I said earlier, like, not dead yet, still rocking,
Right.
because it's healthier than ever. It's just doesn't have no media backing it, shoving it down your throat. And that's what we're here to do, I guess. But yeah, man. So like you find this
Yeah.
like vibrant community of blues musicians and everything. And,
Hmm.
and I mean, so when do you really start and we'll get back into gear because I want to talk about gear. But when
Yeah.
do you
Yeah.
start playing like these legendary, iconic places like, like Clarksdale, dude, is one of the
Oh,
most. People come from like all over the world to play Clarksdale,
yeah.
and yeah, you frequent it pretty often, and play some really, really interesting sets too. Like some of the takes that you have on your blues songs, I think that like that's something else that you and Sam should be working on, is just do a blues album real quick. Like the Black Keys have
Yeah.
done it, a lot of people have
That'd be
done it,
cool.
but and give all the rights where they need to go so nobody gets upset. But
Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, but it'd be great. So how do you start playing Clarksdale and
Mm.
Ground Zero? And how does that help your playing?
So, gosh, I think the first time I played Clarksdale, I was either like 16 or 17. And I had so there was a blues player that had played around here a couple times named Kern Pratt, and he invited me to go play the Juke Joint Festival, like a song with him up there in Clarksdale. That was the first time I ever played in the Delta, period. While we were there, we got introduced to the Grammy Museum up there in Cleveland. They were doing like a summer camp thing called the Music Revolution Project, I think is what it was called. So that was super cool. It was like a summer long camp thing, and we they wanted to try and invent like a new genre of music, and so they were gonna stick like 12 young kids that played music in a room and see what they come up with. Super fun, really enjoyed it. And I get to say like Bruno Mars paid for my summer camp, which is, kind of he was one of the sponsors, I think, or something. I have no idea. But anyways, um, so while I was up there for that summer camp, my parents had to come see like the little showcase thing that we did at the end of it. And while we were up there in the Delta, they go, we missed Ground Zero the last time that we came to Clark's, up to the Delta, Cleveland, Clarksdale. And so why not do that? And then while we're there, we'll go to like Memphis. And while we're at Ground Zero, uh, there's this lady, putting up posters, and my dad walks up to her and he's like, "Hey, do you know who the booking person is? I'd really, like to get my son here." And to me, she goes, "Yeah, I know her. Come to my office." And like, it's crazy how things happen just like that.
Just talk
And
to the
so,
right person like it was meant to
yeah,
be,
just
bro. That's what
immediately,
I'm saying. Like you could
It's
want to go
crazy.
back to the Santana moment and change it
Yeah.
and make it better, but it was meant to be. It was your
It
spark of
was, yeah,
inspiration. Like, man,
exactly.
I'll never forget one time I was leaving New York and I like thought the whole world was crashing. I was like everything I love is gone. And like all I had was a guitar and a suitcase and I'm sitting there in this bus terminal and I'm like see this. Yeah, I'm in Buffalo bus terminal, and this kid's playing the piano. Some Chinese like foreign exchange student, and I'm like, "Hey, man, you care if I like jam along with you?" Just because like it sounded fun, and I'm jamming along with him, and he looks over to me, and he's like, "God wants me to tell you it's time for the dream," and I just like laughed at him, like, "You're stupid. My life just fell apart." You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And then like months later, the dream had started happening, and I was just like
that's cool.
wow. You know what I mean? And that Santana moment for you was like your time for the dream moment. And then
Yeah.
like I will say I've watched you from a distance, but like got to hang out with you, play guitar with you a few times, stuff like that. And you've always been so focused. Like when you were like 15, 16 years old, you had the focus of like a 20, 30-year-old dude about playing guitar and then like to see you now, it's great. It's
I
great.
appreciate
And
that.
let's jump into some the gear though.
Yeah, yeah,
So like you started out on some single coils and like this is gonna be
yeah.
guitar talk, and if you don't play guitar, then it probably sounds like mumbo jumbo. But started out with some Fender guitars,
Yeah.
and where did it go from there? What are your favorite guitars? What guitars do you love playing the most? What guitars do you love recording with the most?
So this one right here is my favorite. Um, this is uh I've since the Santana concert, I wanted a PRS, and so I got a PRS eventually. I think I've only had that thing for 4 or 5 years now. I got it sometime during COVID, I think. And really, really recently, like last year, I took it down to New Orleans to Strange Guitar Works and had them redo the frets. I think it's called a plectrum machine, something like that.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
yeah, they do that down there, and it makes all the difference. Like
Oh
literally, it
yeah,
feels like
yeah.
every other guitar I've played is
You know, it only
fretless.
costs like $300 or $400 to pluck a guitar.
Yeah,
I've
it's
done like
just
some cool
crazy.
custom designs, and we've, and they like aren't even, anything. They're just like a shitty neck, and then not a shitty neck, but like a generic neck,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then you pull up and you put steel frets on them, and then send them to get plecked. And my wife, she does art. She'll do like all this awesome art
that's
on these guitars, and then we'll like clear coat them and send them to get plecked. And then it's like comes back, and it's like this guitar that plays as good as a Les Paul. But all the
yeah.
guitars that come out of Gibson Studio, that's one of the places you could send them. Probably to PRS too, or down there. There's all places, but yeah, but all the guitars coming out of Gibson factory are like plecked right from the man. When I got my guitar, I did so much research. How does it feel to break $1,000 on a guitar? From like when you're a kid, you're looking at magazines
Yeah.
all the time, or like when you got your first nice guitar, how did it feel? Did it feel like it upped
Mm.
your playing ability, or like made it? in any way different?
Yeah, 100%. I think so after the Squire, I got it was an American Strat that I think was on sale. I think I think it was $1,000. If it wasn't, it was like 900. It was like really close. It was probably 900 from the discount from it being on sale. But it had been on the shelf for so long that the stickers had faded into the pick guard, and so we got the pick guard like mother of pearl made. And then it was actually, I took that to ground zero and it was buzzing like crazy because it was probably because it's a single coil. But anyways, we after that we took it and we got Jeff Beck like like n noiseless pickups put into it, and it still has those pickups to this day. That's my like one of my other um you know babies. Like I love that guitar too.
Oh yeah. I've
Um,
always wanted to do what Clapton did when he went from, like playing he actually, I don't know if you know the story about that little history, but Clapton had an Explorer and
mhm.
that's what and if you listen to like The Woman and all that stuff from Clapton, it's got that really deep dark sound. That's that
Yeah.
Explorer. Well, he
Okay.
sold that Explorer to Alan Collins of Leonard Skinner. So if you listen
Nice.
to Eric Clapton and then you listen to Skinner, you can like literally hear like that's the
Mm,
same guitar for sure.
yeah.
It's got that and it's yeah, it's a Gibson. But so he came from that into that, and when he did that, he's like, I can't play The Woman or any a few songs of mine comfortably on stage. So he took a
Yeah.
Gibson capacitor and he put it into the single coil pickup and it like overcharged
Oh,
it. He like supercharged the pickup basically.
that's cool.
And it gives it that warm kind of vibe. And I've always wanted to build one a setup like that. But yeah, dude, so what do you take in studio and then and
Mm,
you have like, yeah, you got the range with like good American made guitar, American made's always
yeah.
the best guitars, I feel like. I mean, I played it, but
Uh,
well, not
the
always, but like,
Mexican, yeah, the Mexican Strat that I've got, I kind of
have you
like
played
it.
any ESP
Uh,
guitars
I actually
or like
haven't.
any of the
I haven't
odd, like
found
the
any of those in
Japanese
left-handed.
guitars?
Mm-mm.
Okay, yeah, that's another thing is he plays left-handed, so
Yeah.
he's got to find certain guitars.
Yeah.
Um,
A
how,
little limited.
yeah, yeah.
But but I do get really good deals sometimes because the left-handed guitars have been sitting there since I was a wee infant. So
Yeah, they're like,
like
oh my God, you
they're like,
exist.
finally, someone will buy this
Yeah.
thing. So the
Yeah.
Martin that I've got, yeah, I found that one in a pawn shop.
Wow.
Like it's a Martin from a pawn. So yeah, uh, every once in
Yeah.
a while we get lucky, but most of the time we're stuck with the same guitar. That's yours. So,
Oh yeah.
but
So what
the
about pedals? Let's talk pedal.
okay,
Well, have you got another guitar to talk about? We can talk about it too, though.
sure.
But
Uh, yeah,
go
I'll kind
ahead.
of shift into that. So with the pedals. Two of the earliest pedals that I got, we have a friend out in California named Joe Walla, and he probably is the biggest. I don't even have to say probably. He is the biggest guitar collector that I know of. He has like over 100 guitars in his apartment in California. It's you can't even walk in his apartment, and so he he introduced me to a guitar called Michael Kelly, and I got two of those
Oh yeah.
beautiful guitars. They sound amazing. I love those. Um, and he also sent me two of the earliest pedals that I got. And I still use I use one of them and still the wah broke. I'm sorry. But the I have a Leslie emulator pedal that's a Boss and it has this weird little spinny thing in the middle of it. And I get more compliments or I guess comments on that pedal than any other pedal because it's you get some really drunk person or really high person in a bar and they're just like the whole time, and they're like, "Bro, what's that pedal?" And
Yeah, right.
so I've got that.
It's a time traveler.
Yeah, 100%. I got that. And it sounds really cool. I like it. Um, so I had a Morley wah, and I actually just replaced it. I bought Bucky Cole from the Chitlins. I bought his wah pedal, and it's I want to say it's a Steve Vai like custom wah thing. I love it. It sounds great. It was definitely an upgrade. I think it's also Morley, but I'm not entirely sure.
Man, yeah,
And
custom wahs are insane. Like I
yeah.
got one that you dial it in and it's got two channels on it too, so you can like
Ooh,
kick the side of it
nice.
and like it'll be like this is how I want it to be when I'm playing lead, but if I'm playing rhythm, I want it to be like way like I don't
Yeah.
want it to be so tight and attacky. But yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude.
So I go from that and I go into a pitch shifter. Um, and I think it was Eric Gales that got me into using that thing again because he uses it all the time. But I use that for like if you hear like an octave lower while I'm playing live, that's what I'm using. And then if I'm also I can turn it the other way and change it to where it's like whenever I mash it down, it goes up or down. I'll use that function as well. Then since Stevie Ray is probably one of my biggest influences, I had to get the Ibanez Tube Screamer, so the little green Tube Screamer. Um, and then I've just started using a flanger in the pedal setup, and I kind of like the way that it rounds it out. Goes from that to a reverb. I use the Canon reverb into that Leslie emulator, and then I had to get a chromatic tuner, I love it because if I want to switch guitars really quick, I can just hit that and switch them. Because I use tube amps, so I don't want to
Yep,
just unplug it.
right, right. I mean, and I was about to ask that, like, what kind of amp, but yeah, two
Yeah, yeah.
personal preference, but like, so yeah, taking that in the studio, do you take your pedal board in the studio, or do you play direct, or and which guitars do you bring? Do you bring them all and kind of layer it, or do you just play with one? How do you roll with it, brother?
Absolutely bring the pedal board to the studio. Just because that's what I'm comfortable playing. Um, and then I will bring. Honestly, I'll probably bring both my amps. I only use two amps, so I've got a 90-pound Mesa single rectifier that I don't carry that to gigs that often because it weighs as much as I do, and and then I use a Hot Rod Deluxe for a lot of the other stuff. It kind of they I can get the same kind of tone out of both of them, so it doesn't really hurt consistency that much. I'm not sounding like a whole different player. Um, but yeah, I'll bring that. I'll bring the PRS, the Les Paul that I have, and a Strat most of the time. And that's usually what I bring for every gig. Minus the Mesa. Um, and then a lot of studios will have, some of their own amps. And like I've played through the guy had a triple rectifier. And I was like, well, if one is good, three must be better. So, uh, you know, but yeah, so usually I'll bring that. Um, if I'm just writing something like on my computer, like in Logic or something, I've had a lot of really good tones out of Neural DSP. Like I've got the John Mayer plugin, and I I like it a lot. So kind of fits the style a little bit. There's tons of different sounds you can get out of them too, which is great. So that gives me a little bit of versatility in what I want to play. I can really get a lot of versatility just out of the PRS though, because it has the double single pickup thing where you can just
Okay, so
pop it
like the
out.
push
So
pull,
yeah,
yeah, the push
yeah, yeah.
pull.
So I can get tons of different sounds from that. So
So let me interrupt you again. Yeah.
you're
So
good.
when you're coming in to the studio and you got your setup and
Mhm.
everything now, and we haven't really touched on this vocals though,
Okay.
how do you roll in with vocals? And let's kind of go toward that. And how was it becoming a vocalist and a frontman versus just a guitar player?
I kind of always just played and sang at the same time. I don't know how that just happened to work out, but the during high school I did choir for a while. And then that transferred over into college. And I was in the Southern Chorale in college for a little while. I learned a lot on like vocal technique and stuff from that and how to blend. So a lot of the times if I'm doing like harmonies or something in a song, I just do them myself. I might like reorient myself around the mic so it sounds different. But it kind of helped me understand like kind of the fundamentals and the basics so that you don't blow out your voice. The other thing was doing these like 4 hour gigs or 3 hour gigs like all the time. You have to learn how to pace yourself because if you're ending a show and you're sounding like this, you're not going to be singing for very long. Um, so that was a couple of the things that I had to learn. I actually had to reteach myself how to sing during college because I went to a football game at Bama one time and screaming and shouting the whole game. And then I got food poisoning on top of that. And I was throwing up all night and I couldn't speak for like 3 months. So for 3 months, I'm sitting there in choir, like lip syncing, so I don't lose the scholarship. So, um, but after that, I had to kind of reteach myself like how to belt and how to like hit higher notes and stuff like that. And I think that helped me in the long run because I did kind of have to backtrack on some of the bad habits that I've developed over time.
So going into the studio, do you like layer your vocals or do you just do that like strong take? How are you most comfortable with that?
Sometimes I'll usually do like 2 or 3 takes on vocals, we'll splice which parts are the best. And then sometimes I'll go back. If I think it needs a harmony, then I might add it just like on the spot. Like I don't have like a piece of sheet music that I wrote like, oh, this is the harmony. Sometimes it's like I have a melody of what it is, and then I sing what else could fit as the melody, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's really inefficient. I should probably get better at that, but you do what you do.
I like it. As you
Yeah,
hear the
yeah,
song building in the studio, you're kind of like
right,
making decisions and
yeah,
kind of working off the hip versus just like coming with some pre-planned thing that you have to make fit into the box. You just kind of you make something and then package it.
yeah,
I like it.
yeah.
I like
But
it.
but at the same time, you do have to like monitor. Time is money. Especially in the studio.
See,
And
that's
so
the
that's
thing
why,
too. Yeah, with like
yeah,
producing at the house and going to the studio.
yeah,
Yes, so time is money when
definitely.
you're going in like that. Mhm. Yeah, definitely and work it up in practice or yeah, or get you like a little home studio though and
Yeah.
start working it up at home and then take it there with some demos. So you guys released what is it? It's in here
Right
somewhere.
in front of me.
Right in front of me, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, yeah.
Talk
So
about that song for a minute and yeah. Uh
yeah. So um so we recorded a 4 song uh little EP, and we actually have that in our EPK that we send to venues and stuff so that we can, get gigs. We can be like, "Hey, this is what we sound like." And so we kind of eeny meeny miny mode picked that one, and I think I was driving to I can't remember, but I was driving somewhere and I figured we had already set the date for I think it was like December 5th or something for like the single release party, and we were gonna have it released and all that stuff. I was listening to it in my car and I realized I heard something wrong with the bass. Like something wrong with the bass and the kick drum. And I was like, that's not gonna work because I'd never listened to it in my car, yet. So I spent like a week before the album release remixing it. So after that, it also takes a long time for you to give the song to like CD Baby or DistroKid or whoever. They need like a week before they release it. So if you're planning on releasing a song like at this time, you need to get it to them like a month in advance at least. Don't do
At
like what
least,
I
or
did.
like even
Yeah.
3 months is really good.
Yes, because I think I
But
paid,
yeah,
yeah, I paid for them to expedite that a little bit, it's because I want to
it's
make
kind
it
of
a
another
process.
thing that we're
Yeah,
doing at Soundwave is we're working on making programs that are like workshops for artists that
nice.
like show them how to make newsletters, show them how to like
Yeah,
time their releases to where it's like a presidential campaign. You like go out and do a rally, which is like a single, and then you do like another single, and then you put out an EP, and then you put out like your whole album, and that really helps keep attention on it. It helps us, the
yeah,
press, to keep reporting on it throughout the year and have something to talk about and eat on, bite on. But yeah,
yeah,
man.
100%.
So let's talk about, where can people find, obviously Spotify, but
Hmm.
yeah, shout out your Spotify, shout out your merch again.
Yeah, so yeah, we've got right in front of me on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, Amazon Music, literally every platform. I can't remember all of them. We did it through CD Baby, and they do a great job. Um, and then follow our Instagram. It's Zachariah and the Kings. My name is Zachariah. So, and then our Facebook page, Zachariah and the Kings, ZachariahandtheKings.com. If you want to email us about booking, it's ZachariahandtheKings@gmail.com. We're real creative. So, but yeah, um, we've got t-shirts, we've got hats, stickers. I'd like to get a few more things. I'm experimenting with print on demand right now, so maybe like coffee cups and bandanas and stuff in the future. So
Oh yeah,
forward to
yeah.
that. And we have an emailing list as well. And you can sign up on that on the website. And I I'm trying to email like a bi-monthly or monthly little newsletter of like where we're playing, all that stuff, what we're
What's
working
going
on.
on?
So yeah,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
Little sneak peeks maybe at
yeah,
like some
exactly.
recording stuff, like some of that stuff the EPK people, the venues
Yeah,
get to see. Maybe you can leak some music there.
yeah,
Maybe we could leak a song here today. Who knows? Um, but
exactly.
but but yeah, follow that newsletter because that's what
Yeah,
artists need to
100%.
do too. Is because when we build these newsletters, it's for you, the fans, and then you don't have to fight through an algorithm to get to your fans, and your fans don't have to fight through an algorithm to get to you. And that is key because when he sends out that email, you know where he's going to be at, and you know when he's going to be there, and yeah, it happens to land in your email. So yeah, that's gonna wrap up this show, everybody, and we thank you all so much for watching the Green Room, man.
The Green Room, a dive into the minds of the artist.
Marching line like the rest. Marching time to our deaths. Can't help but feeling
We would not be doing any of this without our friends at DistroKid. If you are an artist or a new musician trying to get your music out there on all the big platforms like Spotify and iHeartRadio, go check out DistroKid. And while you're at it, use our code and get 20% off. Yes, 20% off your membership fees. Check out DistroKid and support Soundwave. Thank you. What's up, rock fans? Have I got something for you, man? Methylene Blue. This stuff is incredible. And it's not just about the energy, but how well it does for your body. It gets things past the blood-brain barrier, all this stuff, but it's going to give you primal energy. I've talked to like 3 different artists lately, and they said how they've been using Methylene Blue while they're on tour, and how it's helping them more than a Red Bull or some pick-me-up, drag-me-down stuff. But this stuff gives you the best energy. Don't take it if you're on SSRIs or antidepressants or any of that stuff. Consult your doctor before taking it and do your own research. But I am telling you that I have experienced some healthy energy with Methylene Blue. I've heard of people that take it and they use it while they're on tour, and it does wonders for them. It's one of the first drugs that ever came out. And luckily we got a sponsor for it, and we're bringing it to our readers and our viewers. So go to our website and click on the Methylene Blue link and take it there. Help us, and we love helping you. So it's like a win for everybody. If you're a guitar player and you're looking for a great new acoustic guitar or custom guitar, check out Zager Guitars. They support us here at Soundwave, but not only that, they make excellent guitars. Check out ZagerGuitars.com. I wanted to tell everybody out there about the Soundwave Foundation and what we're doing. You can check out the soundwavefoundation.org. We're putting together all kinds of programs, even like programs to help artists that are touring but young and need help with gas, or maybe your instruments get stolen or your car breaks down. We're trying to help out with all that stuff. And I mean, we're doing a ton of stuff. It helps fund the operation here. So go there, donate, help us get started with that. And we'll see you after this break.